Welcome to the Sci-Fi Cosmic Conquest channel. We use the latest AI technology to bring your imagination to life through glorious sci-fi stories. Join us on journeys to the far reaches of the universe and witness the survival of humanity. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Zonka has lived among humans, masquerading as one of them. His alien physiology allows him to maintain a human form for exactly 7 days before his body reverts to its natural state. This transformation takes 12 agonizing hours to return to its human form.
ZONKA'S escape. Introduction. Friday evening, New York City, the pulse of the world. The sun dips low on the horizon, casting long shadows over the bustling streets of Manhattan. Office workers, students, and tourists flood the sidewalks, all eager to begin their weekend. Among them is Zonka, an unassuming man who blends into the crowd with practiced ease. He's dressed in a simple gray suit, his tie slightly askew, a touch of casualness that makes him approachable. His hair, dark and unruly, seems to perpetually fight any attempt at taming, much like Zonka himself, who hides his true nature beneath this carefully crafted human exterior. For years, Zonka has lived among humans, masquerading as one of them. His alien physiology allows him to maintain a human form for exactly 7 days before his body reverts to its natural state. This transformation, however, is not instantaneous. It takes 12 agonizing hours to return to his human guise once the process begins. As a result, every Friday evening, Zonka races home to avoid the catastrophic consequences of being discovered in his true form. This Friday, however, fate has other plans. The commuter train he boards every day suddenly grinds to a halt. Panic sets in as he realizes there's no way off, and the clock is ticking down to his inevitable transformation. Trapped, with no escape in sight, Zonka's carefully constructed life teeters on the brink of collapse. The ordinary world. Zonka in human form. Appearance: Zonka stands at an average height of 5 feet 10 inches and has a lean, athletic build that suggests he engages in regular physical activity. His skin is a warm olive tone, smooth and unblemished, a stark contrast to the blue hue of his true form. His dark brown hair is perpetually tousled, as if he's just rolled out of bed, giving him a casual, approachable demeanor. His deep green eyes, framed by thick lashes, are his most striking features, often twinkling with a mischievous light that endears him to his co-workers. His facial features are soft, with a strong jawline and a perpetual hint of a smile playing on his lips. Personality: Zonka is the quintessential office clown, always ready with a quick joke or a playful jab. His humor is disarming, allowing him to deflect suspicion while keeping everyone at ease. Despite his light-hearted exterior, there's a quiet intensity about him, an undercurrent of tension that only he is aware of, driven by the constant need to maintain his human form. The office life. The story begins on a typical Friday morning. Zonka arrives at his office building in Midtown, greeting the security guard with a nod and a smile. He rides the elevator up to the 22nd floor, where he works as a data analyst at a financial firm. His co-workers, Sarah and Mike, are already there, engaged in their usual banter. Sarah, petite with a bright smile. Sarah has blonde hair cut into a chic bob and sparkling blue eyes. She's the heart of the office, always organizing after work drinks or team lunches. Despite her bubbly exterior, she's incredibly sharp and doesn't miss a thing, which is why Zonka has to be particularly careful around her. Mike, in contrast, Mike is tall and broad-shouldered, with a military background that's evident in his posture and the precision with which he does everything. He has short, cropped black hair, and his brown eyes are often serious, though they soften around his friends. Mike is loyal to a fault and sees Zonka as a close friend, which makes Zonka's deception all the more painful. The day passes in a blur of emails, spreadsheets, and meetings. Zonka plays his role perfectly, slipping in jokes and light-hearted comments that keep the mood in the office upbeat. But as the clock ticks closer to 5 p.m., a tightness forms in his chest, a reminder of the deadline that looms ever closer. Every Friday, this moment brings a familiar surge of anxiety, a fear that he might not make it home in time. The routine. Zonka's routine is meticulously planned. He leaves the office at exactly 5 p.m., catches the 5:15 p.m. commuter train, and arrives at his apartment by 6 p.m., leaving him just enough time to relax before his transformation begins. It's a delicate balance, one he's perfected over the years. But this routine is what allows him to maintain his cover and continue living among humans without arousing suspicion. As the workday comes to an end, Zonka exchanges farewells with Sarah and Mike. There's talk of a football game over the weekend, and Zonka, a die-hard fan, eagerly shares his predictions. But even as he laughs and jokes, his mind is elsewhere, focused on the ticking clock and the impending deadline. The train ride. Zonka breathes a sigh of relief as he boards the train, grateful to have made it this far without incident. The train is crowded, as usual, with commuters eager to escape the city for the weekend. Zonka finds a seat near the window and settles in, pulling out his phone to check the latest football scores. For a moment, he allows himself to relax, and the familiar routine gives him a sense of comfort. But just as he begins to unwind, the train lurches to a sudden stop. The lights flicker, and a collective groan rises from the passengers. Zonka's heart skips a beat as he glances at his watch. 3 hours left. A wave of panic washes over him. He can't afford any delays, not tonight. Panic sets in. The train conductor's voice crackles over the intercom, announcing a delay due to technical issues. The words barely register in Zonka's mind as he feels the first tingles of his transformation. It's subtle at first, a slight tightening of the skin, a faint buzzing sensation in his limbs. But Zonka knows what's coming. He's been through this before, and the knowledge only heightens his fear. He tries to remain calm, but his mind is racing. He's trapped on a train, surrounded by people, and his body is about to betray him. The thought of being exposed, of his true form being revealed in such a public place, fills him with dread. He checks his watch again, 2 hours and 55 minutes left. The minutes tick by slowly, agonizingly. Zonka's anxiety grows with each passing second. His hands begin to shake, and he struggles to keep his breathing steady. He knows he needs to find a way off the train, but there's no escape. The doors are locked, and the train is surrounded by miles of urban landscape. He's trapped. Signs of change. Zonka's skin starts to feel tight, as if it's straining to contain the energy building inside him. He clenches his fists, trying to hold on to his human form for as long as possible. The transformation is still in its early stages, but Zonka knows it won't stay that way for long. He glances around the train car, hoping that no one has noticed the subtle changes in his appearance. His eyes are still their usual deep green, but they flicker with an unnatural blue light when he blinks. He pulls his jacket tighter around himself, hoping to hide the signs of his transformation. A young boy sitting across from Zonka stares at him with wide, curious eyes. Zonka forces a smile, but it feels strained. He's terrified that the boy will see something he shouldn't, that he'll notice the changes and alert his mother. The boy's mother, oblivious to her son's interest in Zonka, is busy scrolling through her phone. Zonka tries to distract himself by focusing on the football game, but the scores and stats blur together as his mind is consumed by the fear of what's to come. He knows he needs to get off this train, but there's no way out. The transformation. With just 2 hours left, Zonka's situation becomes critical. His body is beginning to change, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. His skin ripples as the alien energy within him struggles to break free. His vision blurs and his muscles twitch uncontrollably. Zonka knows he needs to find a secluded spot where he can undergo the transformation without being seen. He looks around the train car, but there's nowhere to hide. The aisles are crowded with passengers, and the seats are all occupied. He considers pulling the emergency brake, but the thought of drawing attention to himself fills him with dread. He decides to take a break in the restroom. It's the only place on the train where he might be able to hide, at least for a little while. Zonka stands up, trying to move as casually as possible, but his body betrays him. His movements are jerky and unnatural, and he feels the eyes of other passengers on him as he makes his way down the aisle. Locked in. Zonka reaches the restroom and locks the door behind him, his heart pounding in his chest. He's safe for now, but he knows it's only a matter of time before someone comes knocking. He grips the sink, staring at his reflection in the mirror. His face is distorted, the skin rippling as the transformation takes hold. His eyes, once a deep green, are now a vivid, unnatural blue. He feels a sharp pain in his back, as if something is pressing against his spine, trying to break free. He grits his teeth, trying to suppress the scream building in his throat. The transformation is in full swing now, and there's no stopping it. The painful change. Zonka's body convulses as his bones begin to shift and reshape. His skin splits and reforms, revealing the deep, iridescent blue of his true alien form. His muscles tear and rebuild, becoming stronger and more resilient. The process is agonizing, but Zonka endures it, driven by the fear of being discovered. The restroom is filled with the sounds of his transformation, bones cracking, muscles tearing, skin stretching and reforming. Zonka clings to the sink, his knuckles white with the effort of holding on. He can feel his human form slipping away, replaced by something entirely different, something not of this world. As the transformation reaches its peak, Zonka's vision sharpens, his senses heightening. He can hear the heartbeat of the passengers outside the restroom, smell the fear and anxiety in the air. His alien instincts kick in, urging him to escape, to find a way out before he's discovered. Transformation complete. Zonka's transformation is complete. He stands in the cramped restroom, his body now fully alien. His skin is a deep, iridescent blue, smooth, and almost metallic in appearance. His eyes, once green, now glow with an otherworldly light, reflecting the fear and determination in his soul. His body is taller and more muscular, with elongated limbs and fingers that end in sharp, claw-like nails. He looks at himself in the mirror, the face staring back at him, both familiar and alien. This is who he truly is, the form he spent years hiding from the world. It's a face he hasn't seen in 7 days, and it fills him with a mixture of fear and longing. But there's no time to dwell on these emotions. He needs to escape. The 12-hour countdown. Zonka knows he has 12 hours before he can return to his human form. 12 hours of hiding, of avoiding detection, of surviving in a world that would never accept him for what he truly is. The thought of being exposed terrifies him, but he pushes the fear aside. He's survived this long, he won't let one mistake end it all. He listens to the sounds outside the restroom, the murmurs of the passengers, and the distant hum of the train. He knows he can't stay hidden here for long. Someone will eventually come looking for him. He needs to find a way out fast. The confrontation. Just as Zonka is about to make his move, he hears a knock on the restroom door. A concerned voice asks if he's all right. Zonka's heart races as he realizes he's out of time. He can't stay hidden any longer, he has to act. Using his alien abilities, Zonka manipulates the lights in the restroom, causing a power surge that knocks out the train's electricity momentarily. The lights flicker and die, plunging the train into darkness. In the confusion, Zonka bursts out of the restroom, moving with inhuman speed. The passengers, disoriented by the blackout, barely notice as he slips past them. The escape. A race against time. Zonka races through the train, his heart pounding as he searches for a way out. He knows the train will soon reach a station, and he needs to find a way to escape before he's seen. His alien form is too distinct, too otherworldly to go unnoticed, and he can't afford to be caught. As the train pulls into the station, Zonka spots his opportunity. He uses his alien strength to pry open an emergency exit, slipping out onto the tracks just as the train doors open to release the passengers. He's free, but the danger is far from over. The station is crowded with commuters, all eager to get home for the weekend. Zonka moves quickly, staying in the shadows, avoiding the gaze of anyone who might notice him. His heart races as he makes his way through the station, searching for a place to hide. Hiding in plain sight. Zonka finds a hidden alcove deep in the tunnels, away from the prying eyes of the commuters. He crouches down, his body still aching from the transformation. He knows he has to wait out the 12 hours before he can return to his human form, but the thought of being trapped in this form for so long fills him with dread. As he waits, Zonka reflects on his life on Earth. He thinks about his friends, his job, and the football games he loves so much. He spent years building a life here, blending in, pretending to be something he's not. But now, all of that is at risk. he feels a deep sense of sadness, knowing that he may never be able to return to the life he's built. The return. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, the 12 hours are up. Zonka feels the familiar sensation of his body shifting, his alien form giving way to his human guise. The transformation is just as painful as before, but Zonka endures it, driven by the desire to reclaim his life. As the first rays of dawn filter into the tunnel, Zonka emerges from his hiding place, now fully human again. He's exhausted, both physically and mentally, but he's determined to return to his life. He makes his way back to the surface, blending in with the early morning commuters as they begin their day. Another day. Zonka returns to his apartment, his heart heavy with the events of the night. He knows he came dangerously close to being discovered, and the thought terrifies him, but he also feels a renewed sense of determination. He's survived this long, and he'll continue to survive, no matter what it takes. As he steps into the shower, washing away the remnants of his alien form, Zonka makes a silent vow to himself. He'll be more careful, more vigilant. He'll continue to live among the humans, to enjoy the life he's built, but he'll never forget the danger that lurks beneath the surface. A new beginning. Zonka emerges from the shower feeling refreshed and renewed. He gets dressed, ready to face the day. As he looks at himself in the mirror, he sees not just the human face he presents to the world, but the alien being beneath it. And he knows that, no matter what happens, he'll continue to live his life on his own terms. The story ends with Zonka stepping out of his apartment and blending into the crowd once more, a man with a secret that no one will ever know.